Pamela Rickenbach. I'm one of the many people here taking care of the horses at Blue Star Equiculture. I'm here with my co-founder, Christina Hansen, and we're here to share with you these wonderful horses and talk a little bit about their histories.
My name's Christina Hansen. I am with Pam, the co-founder of Blue Star Equiculture, and I'm here with Mike. Mike is a former carriage horse. He and I and Pam were actually all co-workers down in Philadelphia. I met Pam when we were both working for a 76 carriage company in Philadelphia, and we were talking a lot about how people didn't understand what it was that we were doing, driving horses in the streets. You know, a lot of people would say horses don't belong in the city, and they always say, well, you know, horses built the city. They've always been here. They belong here. It's we humans who have decided that somehow they don't, kind of kick them out. When Pam came to me with a proposal for starting a rescue, we wanted to do a rescue that acknowledged that horses, particularly big draft horses, belong with people, they like to work, and having worked with us and for us, they deserve to have a retirement home after they're done working. Mike's a perfect example of that. He was actually purchased by the carriage company. He was developing arthritis in his knees, but pulling a carriage is really easy. And so he was able to do that for a while until his arthritis degenerated to the point that he was having difficulty getting up in the morning, literally. Getting a 2,000-pound draft horse off the ground when he's having trouble getting his legs under him is not an easy task. And so he came to Blue Star to be retired, and he's a spokeshorse for, working horses.
We're in the heart of this gathering. We're on the second day, and tomorrow will be our World Peace and Prayer Day with Orville Looking Horse. And it seems that Orville's, one of the underlying themes that he's trying to present this year especially is how the mindset of individualism needs to be transformed into more tribalism. And I understand what he's trying to say is we need to start to think in terms of as a community.
This is a beautiful place to live.
I think one of the most fundamentally beautiful things or important things that's happening here is that we're learning how to get along in a community for the sake of the horses. You know, I always talk about how, well, a lot of us say this is not a rescue for horses, that once you're here even for a day, you begin to realize, wait a minute, those horses are hooked up. It's really a rescue for people. We seem to bring our best to them. They touch us in ways that opens us up, and we release some of the guards that we have, and then we look around at each other and we're like, wow, you feel the same? Do you really feel like I feel? Like, wow, isn't he beautiful? And these kids too, they're opening up to each other and sharing with each other, and we're always encouraging the kids to get along, not to compete with each other, which is a bit different than other stables in this area. I mean, we have some really competitive show stables here, and we're in a pretty affluent area in Massachusetts.
My favorite horse is Cupcake.
There's quite a lot of people here that have children that are riding and they're going and they're competing against each other. Well, our kids here at the rescue, we don't encourage that at all. We don't encourage that they even compete in shows unless it's as a group. You know, together they bring this horse to show off how magnificent he is. And it's amazing because it seems like once they're given permission to get along in that way, they automatically do it. It's almost like, oh yeah, wait, why am I not? I really like her, she's my friend. I don't want to be fighting and get at this resentment. And so it's changing us.
My name's Justin Moraes. I live here and work here at Blue Star Equiculture, and I help run this rescue. And what's so beautiful about this place is the combination of loving these horses and caring for them and finding them good forever homes, and the combination of that and the history and also the environmental education.
Blue Star Equiculture asks a simple question, which is, what if working horses could support themselves? What if everything that they earned through their labor, instead of going to support somebody else, went to support themselves? Not just themselves, because working horses have always supported themselves, but to support their fellow horses that can no longer work. And what if, in the process of doing that, we got to teach people about what horses are capable of?
Okay, so here we have Tony B and Iceman. They're a team. They've been together for about 10 years. They came to our farm about a year ago. We found them on their farm. They had been standing in their field for about 6 years, unused, unable to work. These horses really desperately needed to come to a place where they could be cared for and looked after and worked with, because working horses, it's not very good for them to be standing around doing nothing. Even if they're older, they need the interaction with humans, and they need special care and attention. Iceman, after we got him here on the farm, we took him out to see what he could do, or how they would do hitched up, and we discovered pretty quick that he had problems with his eyesight. So we looked into it, and it turns out he's about half blind, which doesn't prevent him at all from doing his job. It just requires that we're more sensitive to his special needs. They really love people, as you can see. They're really affectionate, and this is generally the case with all drafts. They really, really are special in that they've been with people throughout time. They want to be with people. They want to work with people. These are just two of the very special boys here on the farm.
This is George. George is an appendix quarter horse. He's about 14. He was rescued from a lady, and because he has a sore on his shoulder, that's why he came here instead of ended up at auction and maybe not a better fate. So he's here to get better. This is Huey Kahn. He is, I think, 4 years old, and he's here because he has bad knees. He was ridden too young as a 2-year-old and jumped, and they ruined his legs, and he's here to rehabilitate and get better. This is Hope. She's a 3-year-old, and she came to us from the slaughter pen, I believe, down in New Jersey. And when we got her after a couple months, we discovered she's pregnant. She's in foal, and she's due any day now.
And so what we're asking is, can we, through reconnecting with the horse, remembering what it was that we did with them and what they did with us, can we reconnect ourselves with the earth and with who we are as people? Our little tagline is drafting a better future for horses, humans, and Mother Earth.
Even in the organization ourselves, it started by carriage drivers, and carriage drivers are notoriously independent people. Like, they're very, it's a really eccentric, gifted group of people. I mean, if you look at any carriage driver in any city, how they got to be carriage drivers is sometimes really fascinating. As carriage drivers, just for us to get along at all, we have to accept each other. When we're driving out on the streets, we have to give each other stands, or not take all the rides, or care about each other to some degree. But we learn to really respect each other and love each other, because we also work really hard. We arrive at the stable at 7 in the morning. We get our horses ready, we go out, do tours. So, all of us would have each other to be like, can you believe we're doing this? But it made all of us here at Blue Star very hardcore in terms of the work and the commitment to it. And if we wanted that job, we really had to show up for it. And it's true here for the rescue. If we really want to save these horses, if we really want to make a difference and show that we can do something sustainable and progressive here, we have to show up for it. Despite how we feel, despite what the weather is, we got to feed the horses every single day.